Hello students, welcome to the new session 2020-21 of class 8. All of you are most welcome in this new session. Today we are going to discuss computer science and the syllabus of this subject is first three chapters. After all, when the syllabus will be finally decided, I will confirm you once again. This time, in the very first chapter of this computer science, you have to learn about the introduction of operating system. In this chapter, we'll know about different topics like the objectives of an operating system, second, functions of an operating system, third, what are the different types of operating system, and fourth, what do you mean by user interface and command line interface. So we will discuss one by one. So let us know what do you mean by operating system. Actually, before we study about the operating system, we should know the different components of computer. Actually, all of you know that a computer consists two different parts. First is hardware and the second is software. Hardware means the components that we can physically touch, that you are going to learn from your early childhood, and the software that we cannot touch. We can just feel, we can do on it, do some work. And hardware are the physical components. As for example, your hardware is the very first screen, that is monitor, keyboard, mouse, CPU, and different components inside the CPU, central processing unit. All these are called the hardware components. Except all these things, you have some more hardware components like printer, scanner. All these are the hardware components. And when you open a computer, sometimes you work on paintbrush, sometimes you work on notepad, MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint. These are called the softwares. And I think in your previous classes, you will have learned that softwares are of different types, generally two types. First is called system software and the second is called application software. Okay. So, example of system software, you can give example of system software that Windows. This is a type of system software. Generally, your teacher had given you the example Windows, it means operating system. And the example for application, the example that I have given you, that when our computer open, the MS Paint, Notepad, WordPad, Excel, all these are called application softwares. So whenever we talk about Windows, actually we should know what is the use of Windows in a computer. What is the functionality of a computer? Why do we need Windows in a computer? These are the very vital questions, very important questions that we must know whenever we are going to study a computer. So actually Windows is a medium of communication between computer hardware that I told you, example, keyboard, mouse, monitor, CPU, all these things are called the hardware. So Windows creates a communication between computer hardware and the user. User means The person who is working on the computer is called a user. So this Windows creates a communication. Creates a communication, it means what will happen if Windows is not present in a computer? So the students, if Windows is not present in the computer, then the computer hardware will be just a physical box, a physical structure. We can't do anything in a computer. We can't do anything means nothing in a computer. It means this Windows also makes the computer working for the user. It means without Windows, we are unable to do anything on the computer. Without Windows, hardware will be unable to be operative. So this Windows is called a system software and also an operating system. So we can define an operating system. That operating system is a software program that runs on a computer. I will give you the example of this. One more image is present here. In this image, first hardware. This hardware is interpreted with operating system, and after operating system, applications, and then user will be able to do anything. Okay, so these are the diagrams that you should know. Now the next is, what is operating system? What is an operating system? So just I told you that operating system is a software. You can also say that operating system is a system software. Not only software, is a system software which acts as an interface between the end user and computer hardware. Just a few moments before I told you that it acts an intermediate. It creates a communication. This communication is called interface. This acts as an interface between the end user, means the user means the person who works on a computer is called the user, and computer hardware you know well. It is also responsible for all memory and processes in the CPU. What does it mean? When a computer opens, some primary memory is used. When a computer opens, some secondary memory is used. Primary memory means RAM, secondary memory means hard disk. All these are used by the CPU. In what ways all these things will be used, it is also decided or customized or managed by the operating system. An operating system contains some fundamental files, some pretty basic files, fundamental files that a computer needs to boot up and run its functionality. What does it mean? When an operating system, nothing is installed, only operating system is installed in the computer, it has some necessary files which is needed when the computer start up. Boot up means start up. When a computer starts up, these fundamental files are needed. These are called the booting files, which are compulsory. If these files will be deleted, then the computer will be unable to boot, unable to start. And the operating system, these files have some functionality that supports to boot the operating system in a proper manner. After that, it is an interpreter between hardware and all the application softwares. How can you say that it is an interpreter? Because if the operating system is absent in your computer, if the operating system, you can take example for Windows. If Windows is absent in a computer, sometimes you say that Windows operating system has been crashed. Operating system is not functioning. Operating system has been stuck out. What does it mean? Operating system is not working. And in that case, you say that a computer is hang up. So if computer hangs up, you can't do anything in the computer. What does it mean? Operating system has been stuck out. So it is an interpreter between hardware and the application software. Suppose you can run your mouse, because operating system creates an interface between the mouse and the software operating system. So in this way it acts as an interpreter. So next is example. What are the examples of operating system? Like Windows is an example. You are very familiar of this operating system. There are different versions of Windows are available in the market. Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10. Right now that is going Windows 10. The latest operating system is Windows 10. Mac operating system that works on Apple notebook. Unix, that Unix is also an operating system that works on mainframe computer, means server. Linux is also an operating system. iOS that runs in Apple iPhone or iPad. Android operating system works on Android phone, your smartphone. So these are the examples of operating system. Next, after that, we should know what are the objectives of an operating system. So the objectives of operating system, let us discuss one by one. First, it makes the computer system convenient to use in an efficient manner. What does it mean? If operating system is present in your computer, you can easily handle your keyboard. You can easily handle your mouse. It means computer becomes convenient for you. Next is to hide the details of hardware resources from the user. Computer actually operating system hides the detail of hardware used in the computer. You should, if you are working on a computer, you don't need to know about what is the capacity of hard disk, or what is the functional structure of a motherboard, what is the functional structure of RAM. You don't need to know about this. What type of ICs have been used in the motherboard or CPU, like this. So it hides the detail so that the system does not become more complicated. The next is it provides user a convenient interface to use the computer. I have already explained all these things. It acts as an intermediary between hardware and the user. You already know about it. It manages the resources of a computer system. Let us discuss some part of it. Resources of computer system. Suppose if you are using the hard disk and you have near about 1 TB, means 1000 GB hard disk in your computer. Sometimes if the user is unable to manage all these spaces, he uses 1000 GB in the first drive, and if the operating system is stuck out, if the operating system crashes, your computer needs to be formatted, and if you are trying to format your computer, all the data stored in 1000 GB will be deleted. But sometimes if a person knows well that how to manage, using the operating system, he will manage this 1000 GB hard disk space into different drives like local disk C, local disk D, local disk E, and so on. In this way, your hard disk can be managed. Hard disk is called the resource of a computer. Sometimes you need to manage the printer. Sometimes you need to manage the keyboard and mouse, the speed of mouse cursor, the speed of keyboard. All these things can be managed by using the operating system, using the software control panel. In this way, you can use. The next is it provides efficient and fair sharing of resources among users and programs. Later on, you will learn that whenever two or more computers are on the network, how a user can share its files, how a user can share its resource with other users on the network. Let us take an example. If you are using internet, while using the internet, what happens? You opens a browser, opens the Google, and you type some words, you type something to search whatever you need. What happens? As you type something and press enter, you get some URLs of the sites, different websites. This is a type of sharing, because the data has been stored somewhere in the world on the server. Whenever you try to search, that data is shared with you. This is called file sharing, data sharing. So in this way, operating system can help you operating system helps you to use the computer in very efficient way. So all these are the objectives. Now let us discuss the functions of an operating system. What are the different functions? The different functions of an operating system are: first is resource management. We'll discuss one by one, but first of all let us know what are the different functions. First is resource management. The second is data management and security. Third is communication between user and computer. And the fourth is coordination. These are the four basic functions of an operating system. Let us discuss one by one. First is resource management. What is resource management? Actually, resource management function of an operating system involves allocating computer resources such as CPU, main memory, hard disk, input-output devices for different uses. What does it mean? What is the use of keyboard? What is the use of mouse? What is the use of memory? What is the use of hard disk? All these things are managed by, all these things are called resources, and these are the functionality of these resources are managed by resource management system of the operating system. And the main functions are process management. It has also different processes, different functions. First is process management, second is memory management, third is disk management, fourth is device management. Earlier I told you that resource management involves the functionality of different resources of the computer, like processor, memory, disk, input, output, etc. etc. On behalf of these resources, resource management functionality is divided into different parts. That is process management, memory management, disk management, and device management. Let us discuss all these functions one by one. First is process management. What is process management? When sometimes you will feel that in computer you are working on two or more applications, or you can also do that two or more files are being copied simultaneously. Suppose you have copied one folder and paste on the location destination. Immediately you copy another folder and copy the same destination. The two folders are being copied. In the first case, you will see that first folder, when you copy the first folder and paste it, you will see that it takes 5 minutes. But as you copy the second folder and paste it at the destination, you will see that first folder copying is taking 8 to 10 minutes, and second folder is also taking 7 to 8 minutes. Why it happens? It happens because the time has been managed. Operating system gives the priority to the different processes. Copying first folder is one process, copying of second folder is other process. Now operating system gives priorities to these different processes. First, for some time, first process will happen, and then operating system will pause it. Then second process will be scheduled. Sometime for some fraction of seconds, second process will continue, then it will be paused. Again, first process will continue. And in this way, the operating system reschedules the processes. So let us see what is process management. When more than one processes are performed in an operating system, then the operating system sets the priority for different processes, that which process is to be executed first and which one later. This function of operating system is called process scheduling or process management. Clear? Now it has one more process. What happens? Suppose one process is completed, then it will be deallocated from the memory. And if a new process is to continue, it will be memory for this process will be allocated by the CPU. So the process which is responsible to allocate the processor to an activity and then deallocates when the process is no longer required, What does it mean? If the process has been completed and if you don't need it further, then it will be deallocated from the memory. This is called traffic controller. What does it mean? If the process has been completed but remains in the memory still, the memory will be consumed. जिसे हम बोलते हैं ना कि मेमोरी भर गया है. So that will consume your resources, that will consume your memory, more and more memory, and unusual space of the memory will be used. So the operating system has automatic scheduling that when the process is not in use, that will be released, the memory will be released. And if a new process is to start, the memory will be given, memory will be allocated. This is called allocated. Memory will be given. This is called traffic controller process, and all these things comes in process management. Now the second is memory management. Actually, memory management refers to management of primary memory or main memory. Primary memory or main memory. Example of primary memory is RAM, random access memory. So this is primary memory, and the operating system keeps track of primary memory, that what part of it is in use and by which program or process. It depends on the operating system that which part of the primary memory will be used by which program. It depends on the operating system. Operating system will manage. Suppose you are going to open 2 or 3 applications: Paintbrush, Notepad, WordPad, MS Word, and Photoshop. Now it depends on the operating system that what part of memory will be given to Paintbrush, what part will be given to MS Word, and what part will be given to Adobe Photoshop. All the programs in the computer gets executed in the main memory. All the programs executed in the main memory, and the operating system allocates the memory when a process is requested. What does it mean? All the processes gets executed in the main memory, either your Paintbrush, MS Word, Notepad, or Photoshop. And earlier I told you, a few moments before I told you, that operating system decides that which process, which application needs what size of memory. Obviously, as I think all of you know, that Photoshop takes larger memory than Paintbrush or Notepad. All these things are, when the application opens, all these things are requested to the operating system, and in response, operating system decides that which application has to give what size of memory. And after completion, when the application is closed, the memory consumed by the application is released. Suppose after working some time on Photoshop, you have closed it. Immediately as the Photoshop will be closed, the memory consumed by the Photoshop will be released by the operating system. This is called deallocation. Releasing of memory is called deallocation. Deallocation of memory, that will be deallocated by the operating system when the program is no longer in use or is terminated, means closed. Termination means close. Now the next is disk management. What is disk management? Disk means hard disk. This is also important responsibility on operating system, that how the hard disk, how the disk storage data will be managed, is organized. Suppose in your mobile, you are said by the company that 64 GB data is available in your mobile, or in your memory card, 64 GB memory card. If you purchase 64 GB memory card and you implement in your mobile, you get only 56 GB data or 58 GB data of your SD card. Why? What happens with the rest 6 GB or 8 GB space? Actually, it depends on the operating system. Operating system actually reserves some memory space for its use, for its operation. Always, whenever SD card is used by operating system, it has some reserved memory area for each device. That 6 GB or 8 GB is reserved by the operating system. This is organizing of storage of data, and it is also responsible for managing the free space, allocating the storage, and scheduling the disk. How the disk will be scheduled, when it will be in use, all these things are managed by the operating system. And the last is device management. Device management, actually it creates the communication between different devices with the operating system. How the keyboard will be used, how mouse will be used, how monitor will be used, how printer will be used, all these things are managed. All the input and output devices are managed by the device management system of the operating system. It keeps tracks of all the devices and decides which process gets connected to which device, which process is connected with which device. It is, everything is managed by the device management. So this is all about the today's class. Now I will like to say you that while watching this video, you will write all the contents written shown in the video in your fair notebook, and you have to do some homework. In the homework you have to write the answer of some questions that I am going to give you. Bold. Question number 1. What is an operating system? Question number 2. What are the objectives of an operating system? What are its different functions? What do you mean by resource management? Explain in brief. Process management, memory management, disk management, device management, traffic controller. Okay, we'll write answer of all these questions, and next day we'll learn more about this. Okay, have a good day.